She leads a lonely life. Oh yeah, she leads a lonely life. Yeah. When she woke up she opened up eyes and thought, oh, one morning. Did I drive away the people who weren't meant to be here anyway? I'm gonna get ya. Hello, welcome. Hello, Muckrake777. Starlet's here. Chat check, hat check, cat check. Where's my cat? I don't have one. I have a dog. She's on a car ride right now with Grandma. So we've got maybe 15 more minutes of peace with just us. Welcome, dear doodle bugs. Just checking in on my creation station, making sure everything is set up and swole. Are we dead yet's here? Checking in to make sure Bill Murray is still alive. I guess he just said, like, I made sure to check, and Bill Murray is still alive. Okay, cool. Confirmation. I'm learning to read this week, which is very exciting. It's long overdue. It's been a lifelong journey, some would say. Many people have questioned how I've gotten this far to begin with and whether or not I deserve it, and the answer is most likely not. But here we go. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome to the live stream. We got people joining up. We got a lot of regulars in the chat. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Miss Doodles. I do this every Sunday, the Sip and Sketch, where I sip a tasty beverage and I sketch and doodle and noodle at you. This is gonna double as a tissue today. It's okay. I got a plethora of rags underneath my desk. How's everybody doing? How was everyone's week? This week I already have 2 cups of coffee in me, so let's tone it down a little bit with a Furious IPA. This is from the Surly Brewing Company, a little bit of a local brew here in Minnesota. Lovely. Yee. And today I figured I would be sketching out some old watercolors. I got these pages with layers started that need to be finished, so we'll dive more into that as we begin. And I'm sipping out of my booty mug. It's a ghost with a butt. Booty. This was a early housewarming gift to myself. Oh yeah. Oh, I can pour the beer right onto the ghost butt. This is decadent, you know. These are the small ways we treat ourselves. Giving ourselves a whole lot of foamy head. Okay. Hello. It's been cold in Arizona, says Jen Wilson. Yeah, it's Sunday fun day. I decided to treat myself. Ooh, what's happening in the chat? Yay, Sweaty Fatty's here. Obrigada, thank you for joining. All the way in Brazil. We got people all around the world. Hey, Hubcam. Hello. So, here's the game. I am going to switch over to some of these guys. Like I said, I want to do some watercolors today, and I have some special announcements and things that I've been working on in the background that I want to share with you. But first, let's get started on painting, and I'm just going to finish up one of these pages. So I've had these are like gourmet sheets of art paper, and for whatever reason when I got them, I panicked and just did random washes on it. And this was years ago. So I've had these I have a work in progress folder for loose leaf art paper. And I've got piles of these. These aren't the only 2 pages. I finished up one earlier this month, or in January. So I want to finish these. Which one do you want to see me finish? I guess orange or green. We'll just leave in the chat, just say either orange or green. The orange one is very like cubic, washy, geometric. We can go either direction. It's just sort of like, I don't know, I could either add to the background or just use it as a first abstract layer. I don't know. Or do we want to see green finished today? And this is clearly a landscape that we began with. A lot of blues and greens. Just realizing I don't know where my watercolor palette is. Oh, it's 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Do you know where your watercolors are? They're right here. I've been downsizing galore with my art station, and I love it so much. And I've been working on like just keeping things preloaded. I've been doing daily doodles on 2 accounts now, on Mary Doodles, and then I got Booty Doodles, which is Booty Doodles, Doodlez, over on Instagram. And this month I want to like post a daily butt over there, and I've got a super secret sketchbook project on that, underneath that umbrella. I went through a butt drawing phase during the pandemic where I just wanted to draw butts. Probably a trauma response. So I started a Instagram account for Booty Doodles. It's just butts. So I'm doing a daily doodle over there, as well as on my main Instagram page. In the stories, I'm sharing my daily doodles, and I'm going to start doing some roundup posts here on YouTube in the community area, as well as on my website. And I'm trying to like organize in my head how I want to design my website so that like you can access the galleries of the daily doodles. It's no guarantee that I'm going to do this for a year, but like there's a part of me that's like, I want to see if I can do 365 days of doodles and get that back into my routine. And so far, so good. Which is part of why I've been reorganizing and making sure my creation station is set up first thing in the morning. So every night before bed, I'll like get my brushes ready. I'll fill up my jars full of water, and I have my pens all sorted in jars, and so I can just like grab what I want. And it's a very obvious thing, but it's very helpful for charging forward on a project or a creative commitment when sometimes for artists, procrastination and fear slows you down before you get started. So yeah, that was the hot tip of the day. Oh, what have we got here? We got people in the chat voting. I'm seeing one for orange, green, orange. Wow. Ooh, Jen got some metallic watercolors. I've never tried metallic watercolors. I should do that. Millie, thank you for shouting out. Booty Doodles is in the chat if anybody wants to go check out that Instagram account and follow it. It's just butts. It is just butts. Phase? Question mark? Millie is my my manager and attorney and personal yarn counselor. And she's also moderating here. And as my therapist and life coach, she is pointing out that the Booty Doodles might not be a phase. It might become my next incarnation. Sort of like a David Bowie thing. I'm loving this IPA. Okay, we're doing a vote. Green. The aqua one. Oh boy, we got the votes in. I'm seeing it's a tight one, but I think we're going to finish the orange one today. Sorry, green trees. You will be painted later. Wow, magical, radical, super jazzical. Oh, also, here, I'm going to put a link in the description for Schrodinger's cats. I hope that link works. All right, I threw that in the chat. On my announcement lists, I am happy to say that I have posted Schrodinger's cats. Oh man, it's set to the notebook. Okay, well, we'll change that. Okay, I got some editing to do. Fine. Okay, die cut stickers. Here, I'm gonna be a perfectionist a little bit and just like We got cats. Okay, I'm redoing that link. I'm gonna send it to the more pretty merch. So this is the new image that people decided on and voted for. Over January, during the Sip and Sketch, I've been doing like line art and paintings and drawings, more drawings. And last week, I kind of polled everybody to gauge and see which image they wanted me to turn into a design. And so Schrodinger's Cats was the top one. If you check out that link, it'll take you to my Teespring shop where there's merch galore with a handful of designs. We got Betty Freddy, who was the first design of the year here on the Sip and Sketch. And we've also got, there's like the cats there. There's, what else do we have? There's stuff and things. There's images. Oh, there's a fresh Sip and Sketch design. I have a Sip and Sketch mug that I'm not drinking from because I'm drinking from a pint jar. And actually you can get Schrodinger's Cats on a pint jar, pint glass, and on mugs. So if you follow that link, you can find, there's the cat design, there's the new Sip and Sketch mug. All of that is on my Teespring shop. And yeah, you can go there if you want to decorate your kitchens or your bodies, or if you just want to show some support and love to this channel and what I do here. Or if you want to show your support, there's a super chat. You can tip me there. You can tip me directly on Venmo. I am at Mary Doodles. I'm Mary Doodles everywhere on the internet, except for TikTok. I'm Doodles Mary. Buddha Doodles. That's right, Brittany. Doodles equals yes, but. Yes, but. Improv is yes and. Doodles is yes, but. Being a booty. Okay. I'm gonna deal with the sun real quick. Excuse me. Excuse me. You're not allowed to shine here. This is a closed set. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. That was so rude. So rude. Cheers to you. Who else is doodling today? We've got, some people like to sit and doodle or do their homework. I'm trying to figure out how I can boost the brightness of this so you can seize it better. Here we go. Pump it up. Pump the jam. There. Being a perfectionist. Okay. So, this is what I'm doing today. Okay. Oh, and Q&A. If I figured today while I finish this, I invite you to ask your questions. Ask me anything about art, the universe, everything, and I will answer it with the expertise of someone who's been painting pictures for 10 years on the internet. Highly qualified. I'm a highly qualified woman. I'm drooling. Does that count? That always counts. That always counts. Just, I'm picturing you and the kitties on the couch just drooling together. Did you hear? Okay, I'm going to reach out. Millie. This is sidebar, Millie. I got some interesting news from C. I'm really excited. Anyway, I gotta go shower first. Oh, nice. Always shower for your mother. Hey, Minty Ravioli. Heck yeah. I am trying to figure out what I want to turn this into, but I'm not sure. This looks kind of like galactic. Maybe I'll do like a spacey galactic fantastical realm. I want to paint mushrooms. I'm going to do that. I'm going to start with painting mushrooms. I'm just trying to figure out which way is up on this. I'm going to do this way as up. Okay. I want to keep this real simple. And actually, first off, I want to show you how amazing this paper is. Primo. This is like the Tesla of watercolor paper. So I'm just going to lay down some water here. And then I'm also going to bring up some paint from, I've been exploring with some paint product from my local art store that is, it's not the cheapest, but it's like $12 per tube. But so far, like, a little bit goes a long way, and it does stuff like this. Okay, that wasn't that. It was supposed to look more impressive. Hang on. So it's like $12 a tube, and a little bit goes a long way, and it does stuff like this. Okay, I think it looks great. It's a very smooth application. It's a higher end paint with a higher end paper, which gives you a higher end experience and feel. Makes me feel like I can just throw my keys to the valet. Makes me feel like I can knock women off the sidewalk with my Birkin bag or Birka bag. I used to always call it the Birka bag. I don't know. How do you like Creator Spring for selling your artwork? Oh, I've been enjoying it so far. It's pretty standard with like print on demand options. And right now I'm working on consolidating my shop into getting it into a spot where like you click one link and you can see everything that I have, because I have as a creator, I've got stuff on Redbubble. I technically have a Society 6, but I think it's Society 6. I haven't used it all that much. I haven't gotten any hits on it, but I also haven't been promoting it. So, yeah, and then I sell originals on my website. So, you know, things are kind of everywhere. And the goal for this season is to kind of bring it all back down to one consolidated place and make things easy to find for people, which is a big part of art business and that side of it. Oh, I love this paper. It's so silky and smooth. Right now I'm just kind of want to do like something very simple because the background is ethereal and already complex. And I'm kind of challenging myself to be content with doing simple and not feeling like I have to overwork things or do something that's super impressive all the time. Not all the time. I'm trying to tone down my expectations for myself. So I find that I do the insecure artist thing and I go too far. I keep adding too much. I forgot how to hold brushes. So I'm challenging myself to just keep it simple. So I'm going to begin with these stems. And I'm kind of practicing consistency and doing things the same or in a similar way every time. So if I'm drawing mushrooms, this type of mushroom is going to be the same brush stroke pattern. Fun. I love that. I love how this little white highlight is kind of looking like some leaves peering out of the background. This is super cool. This is like what watercolor's for, making some ethereal, dreamy imagery. So yeah, spring as a store, I don't mind it. I like it. I feel like I've also ordered some samples. I haven't sampled all of the merch, and that's kind of my one complaint when you do something that's print on demand, like Society 6, like Redbubble, like Spring. They give you the option to buy your own merch at a cost. So everything's like marked up so that the company providing the service and the merch can be compensated properly. And so then the artist gets compensated. So like there's a markup. You can buy your own merch where you're basically buying it off of the printers, which is fine because then you don't have to, with like a lot of other printing situations, let's say you want to order t-shirts, a lot of places will charge you, like you have to get 50 or 100, which means you're paying a lot more. So it's kind of nice if you're just getting started, you know, and you don't want to commit to pre-ordering a whole bunch of merch. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of spoiled. When I started doing YouTube, I was at Maker Studios, which was a MCN and a management company, and for a brief time they were dabbling in having their own storefront, and they made merchandise in-house, which was cool because then I could just walk down to the other wing of the building into the shop where they're actually printing the t-shirts, and like they could demo things, and we did like test prints, and I got to wear the shirt like right away, which then made it easier to like say, hey, I want to do some giveaways, I want to do a set of prints and I'll sign 50 of them, and so that was really cool. Yeah. But ultimately, I've been satisfied with them. I kind of wish there were more print-on-demand options for smaller watercolors, like 5x7s to 8x10s, because I kind of want to, I work more in that size. And places like Teespring has more, like the only art prints they provide are on canvas, which is cool. But I mean, what I do is watercolor. So like, I want like that gicle option. You know what I'm saying? But there you go. Yeah, space mushrooms. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm going to make sure these are a little more galactic then. So I like that. Ooh, okay. This is what we're doing. We're workshopping these ideas. Oh, and pardon. I'm just getting so blown away by that. Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, that's fun. Beautiful. Yeah. I hope you can see how this, let me bump the brightness a little bit. I think helps show the nuance. I'm just trying to get the nuance of the colors into your face. That's not kind. That doesn't look good. It looks kind of like a knocked out squirrel. That's beautiful. What is new with Miss Doodles, college guy? It's been a while. What is new? Let's see, what is new? Well, I mentioned earlier, I just kind of like put my head down and started focusing on putting together new designs. Oh, I was like plugging it earlier in the stream, but failed to bring it out. So this is Schrodinger's cats. This is the design I did. If you recall last week, where is it? Oh, it's all the way on the other side of the room. I'm not gonna. So my, probably like 3 weeks ago on the Sip and Sketch, I did a rough ink drawing based on Schrodinger's cats. And it was this basic design. Last week, everyone voted. They wanted to see that one moved more into like a finalized design. So this is what I did this week. It's basically like a watercolor wash in the background with, this is this white manga marker that I am in love with. I'm obsessed with doing galactic stars and surreal stuff. So I did this watercolor bleed in the back and then colored the cat itself with Copic markers. And I really like this design. So that is what you can find on my spring store, which should be pinned there. There's also links in the description to this design, as well as an updated Sip and Sketch mug design. It's cats. It's Schrodinger's cats. I love it on this one too. So this is like this higher end purple watercolor. I really got to memorize the name of the brand, but it kind of, I don't know if you can see it here. There it is. It's got a little bit of a gloss. We got some of that gloss action. And that's just from, it's warped. There's a secret drawing on the back. I've been wanting to, I don't want to waste paper. So I have this work in progress folder where this page came from of like things that I tried and just kind of bailed on. And I was like, well, this has a blank background. So let's do this. Yeah, I'm really happy about that. So I was working on that, working on tidying up things a bunch, kind of car shopping, making some plans. I'm just the kind of filthy artist who's never owned a car before. So I'm looking at test driving some stuff this week and never done that before. And I'm realizing, God, that's intimidating. But then I always think of the time I sat in a car with Norm Macdonald. We were picking him up for a comedy show. I was working at a Zany's Comedy Club in Illinois. I was a plucky young film student, aspiring actress, artist, director, comedian, all the things. Still am. And as he was flinging rubber bands at my coworker who was driving and 5 years younger than me, so didn't appreciate who or what Norm Macdonald was, I remember him saying, "Yep, I've never gotten my driver's license." And I was like, wow, that makes me feel less bad about never owning a car before, because I at least have my license. And he went on to explain that, he was from Canada and then moved to New York, and you don't need a car in New York, so why get a license? And then time goes on, and just after so much time, you don't really need it. And when you're traveling and a comedian, part of the gig is, you can get picked up from your hotel and escorted to where you need to be and all that goodness. And good Lord, there's a bird. Everyone all right? Someone hit a window. It's fine. Long story short is I met a celebrity and he passed away in recent times. So give me your attention in lieu of this person existing. What? I'm sorry. I got really distracted by a bird hitting the window. You always hear that thud and then it's like, oh God, please don't find a body. Please don't find a body. It's the worst. All right, I'm just going to put some purples down. Spotty mushrooms. Spotty space mushrooms. Spotty space mushrooms. They're kind of ladybug-esque. Yes, my art is very philosophical, college guy. Everything is both dead and alive until you decide what you want it to be. Welcome to the Sip and Sketch. My name is Miss Doodles. This is the part where I sip on a tasty beverage like this Surly Furious IPA, a local Minnesota brew. And I'm sipping it from a pint glass that has a ghost butt on it, and I'm painting on exquisite watercolor papers with exquisite watercolors while answering your questions about everything. I'm doing this every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Yeah. Anyway, where were we? What were we talking about? Yes. Do I believe in an alternate universe? I feel like I kind of have to. I believe very strongly in alternate universes within other people. Like the idea of no two people are sharing the same experience at the same time. It's the idea of like an event happens between two people, let's say, and there's person number one's version of the story, there's person number two's version of the story, and then there's the actual thing that actually happened. And so, yes, I believe in alternate universes immediately in the sense that, like, you are experiencing an alternate universe than what I'm in right now. You know, I'm having the experience of someone sitting in a basement, so thankful I didn't find a bird corpse 5 seconds ago, enjoying a tasty IPA and painting with people. What I'm meant to believe is people on the other side of this. Maybe you're all bots. And that's the thing. Like, maybe like in an alternate reality, in an alternate universe, i.e. your experience, you're just a bot floating through the internet. And you stumbled upon this channel and you're going to try to get me to give you some sensitive data, which is not good nor evil. It just depends on which character is observing and affected by your motivations and how that aligns with their motivations. Who here's been to Burning Man? Oh, thanks, V7. I'm really enjoying these. I'm really enjoying simplifying things. Just toning it down and simplifying. Gosh, and this paper is, if I were to describe these paints and this paper, I would say creamy. I mean, just this alone and the way it blends together and feathers, and it's creamy and dreamy, this paper. And that's where, like, paying a little extra can go a long way with your art, if that's the experience you want. I know it's the experience I want. Hitting wrong buttons everywhere. There we go. I want to pull that out and just let you see the thing as a whole. Here, if we do this, if we put the colors over there. No, I hate it. I feel like I've been doing this a whole lot more. This palette has been with me probably since I started my career on YouTube. I just got it off Amazon and it folds up. It's the bestest. I'm kind of like embracing more of like being this artist, this person. I don't know why it's such I don't know. I think I mentioned earlier I've been doing daily routines and really just kind of becoming more conscious and aware of my regular routines and trying to intentionally shift them so that I can be more creative and productive on a daily basis. And so far it's working. It's very similar to The Artist's Way morning pages. I don't know if anybody's ever read that book. But it's the idea that you wake up every morning and you write 3 pages a day, just stream of thought. Don't stop and think about it. Just knock them out. And there's something with, what is it? Oh, I'm confused. I'm like combining that with The War of Art, which is another great book for artists to have, or creators. And in The War of Art, they talk about how it's very important to have those routines and show up at the same time at the same place to be found. It's more like a little more esoteric, but the concept of the Greek Muse is like this goddess of inspiration and whatnot. And so the idea is, if you want your friends to find you, oh, I'm always going to be at this coffee shop at 11 a.m. around this time, reading a book, having my caffeine. And then your friends kind of know, like, oh, where's Sammy McSamerson? Oh, Sammy McSamerson's at his cafe, like having another Americano with a donut in it. As always, cool. Let's go find Sammy McSamerson and invite them to a party. It's sort of like that. It's the idea of building a creative habit and routine will, over time, invite in that creativity and inspiration. And it does work. It was like hard in the beginning, but then I started committing to just showing up every morning and knocking out some art. And now, first thing in the morning, it's around that time. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I already have ideas. I'm already motivated. As soon as I pour the coffee, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. You know, it's like a dog salivating when it hears the dinner bell. You kind of program yourself to really want the thing. Body hacking. Tim Ferriss Show. Tim Ferriss Show. And then it's that like weird techno intro thing. Michael Karlstrom says, Burning Man was an experience I shall never forget, except for one day I can't recall the ending of. Sounds like you had a Burning Man experience. You guys. Sammy McSamerson is a good friend of mine. Don't laugh at their name. They get bullied for it a lot. All right. There's a little bit of bleed happening there, so I'm just going to not fart with that much longer. The other thing about this paper is I feel like it dries really quickly, which is nice when you're doing watercolors. I want some of these edges to be drier. So actually, I'm going to stick with this brush. I'm going to put some things in the foreground. Ooh, I know. No, I'm going to go for this. I was going to do more mushrooms, but I want this to be a little more science fiction. Like this is a different planet. This is a planet with different kinds of life forms on it. So I'm going to create like a little horizon line. It's going to be in motion with this line that's already set up there. Don't really want to pull things out to the very edge because this is like this beautiful torn edge paper. It came that way. I really like that. I've been trying to think of how I would frame it or matte this kind of paper just because it is like it's so torn and pretty. And I've seen people like rest it on like a black paper backdrop, but yeah, I don't know. I have a matte cutter and I've been working with like matting some newer paintings and I'm really appreciating it. So I think I'm gonna have some new matted artwork available in my store soon. And matting is just like, it's that cardboard square, that rectangle, the cardboard frame around the painting with the hole cut out in the middle so you can see the painting. And then that goes in the frame. And the purpose of the mat is to allow you to see the artwork, but then it also creates like a barrier because you have, with your frame, you have glass, mat board, and then the painting behind the mat board poking out through the hole. And that way the glass doesn't rest on to the painting and it doesn't mess up the paint. It's a preservation thing. It's fine art. Fine art. Fine. We'll call it art. That's why they call it fine art. No, Sammy McSamerson's not a real person. Although I wish they were. Oh man, I had in high school, there's a friend who we called Tasty McGee to the extent where like adults would at school would all be like, is his name really Tasty? Like people were just like, hang on a sec. Is that his real name? And then I had to be like, hang on a sec. Is that his real name? No. I love that. I wish I could get nicknames like that. I've tried really hard to get nicknames. No one will give them to me. Let's see. I kind of feel like I want this to be a hill, and I want to put some sort of character here. But I don't know what. So I'm just going to let this is all wet. So you can kind of manipulate the paint. Manipulate the paint. I'm gonna let that dry and figure itself out. And in the meantime, this kind of looks like a comet. Should I make that a comet? Should I make a shooting star thing? I kind of want to put something here. There's like a window. What should go there? I'm feeling creature. I don't know if I want it to be like feline, robot, Sasquatch. Is this a bear? Is this a wolf? Is this a butt? Yeah, I'm kind of looking at like trying to build the composition in my mind. This feels like it needs to be justified. Or it's just a giant Loch Ness monster. Is this gonna just be a giant Loch Ness monster? Are you seeing that? I'm seeing like this is the head, the eye, and the neck, and it's kind of like it could be like curving back. So this is its back. Excuse me. I'm just so thrilled with this idea. I need water. Today I only drink from cans. Or canned items poured into a pint glass. Hang on. It's my backup surly. I'm having Sunday fun day. Shooting star would be good. It does feel like shooting star material. I have an infinity loop. Yes, look at you. Look at you catching that. I love it. I love that. I'm realizing like my painting process is I do like to, yes, and my way around. I'm a member of the Church of Improv, the cult of improv. But because I feel I'm an overthinker. So like I need to shoot first and then justify it afterwards. And so that's where like part of what I'm like really discovering I enjoy is finding the patterns within things and saying like, oh, that looks like a Loch Ness monster, or that looks like an infinity symbol. Let's continue on with the patterns because everyone loves patterns. Sammy McSamerson is now going to be the name I request for the witness protection program. So if I suddenly disappear, just Google Sammy McSamerson and you can find me in Arizona or New Mexico. You can find me at Faywood Hot Springs, New Mexico. That's where I will hide out. Oh, shoot. I just told the internet. Oh, no. Loch Ness Monster. Okay, Brittany says, okay, first Brittany wanted a shooting star. So Brittany's making the choices right now here. First wanted a shooting star, then wanted a butt, and now you're saying Loch Ness Monster. Yeah. Okay, so Brittany has decided we're going to do Loch Ness Monster. You can submit all your complaints to Brittany Truman, if that is your real name, Sammy McSamerson. Hey, everyone. Hello, Ukraine. Boo, 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 boo. The college guy. What do you mean Surly is going to hit me hard and fast? It is. Yeah, them long neck dinos. Do I do stand-up or improv? Yeah, I'm a 10-year improv veteran. Stand-up has been on my bucket list for like the last 4 years, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like, just do it. Just do it. I've always, I don't want to say had difficulty with solo performances, but I just have like memories of choir. I used to do women's ensemble, and then there was an a cappella choir I was a part of in high school, and you'd have to audition for it, and I would just freeze up. But if I had a team, an ensemble around me, I was fine. And same with like theater. Our school every year would do a play in the fall and a musical in the spring. And when I would audition for the musicals, I would choke. But then I would always get cast in parts where I was singing, with like at least 2 other people. And then there's one year we did Anything Goes, and I got put in a dancing role. There's, if you're familiar with the musical Anything Goes, there's like Reno Sweeney, who's like this evangelical, like hip gal. She's like Tatiana Maslany's character on, what is that? Perry Mason. The Perry Mason, the newer version on HBO with Matthew Rhys. It's sort of like Tatiana Maslany's character. Very like 30s evangelical pop star. And then she's got these like side chicks, not side chicks, her backup girls who are the angels. And so I was like cast with 2 other, there are 3 of us, I think. Maybe there are 4 of us. Oh, I'm a terrible human being. All I know is like all the other girls were like dancers. They were like trained dancers. They'd taken dance classes, high school level, but still intimidating. And they had dancer bodies. And then like there's me with like my thunder thighs. Like I don't dance, but I can look enthusiastic. And I guess that's why I got the part. And then the costumer, who is a sweet woman and friend of mine, was like, she was trying to comfort me, but she's like, back then more girls had your body type. Your body type would have been what's on stage, not theirs. I was like, what are you trying to say? What kind of shade are you throwing in the form of a pep talk? What kind of pep talk are you throwing in the form of shade? Oh, that's always heartbreaking. There's a very kind Midwest way of calling someone chubby while trying to lift them up and boost their spirits. Okay, I need to really focus on what I'm doing here because I don't want to mess it up. This is still a little damp. Also, I like high contrast, and that's gotta change. Hang on. I'm gonna just throw this purple in. Lately, my solution to everything has been this shade of super dark purple. Oh yeah. Kind of make it a bubble. I'm really like, so it's this purple here. It's that same one. I'm really liking it. It's high quality. Yeah, I like how vibrant it is. And I'm also liking this bubble motif. So I'm going to stick with that. I feel like my part of my goal of simplifying things and not overcomplicating what I'm doing is repeating myself throughout multiple works. Because I've gotten into this habit of like, once I finish something, I'm like, bam, now I need to think of something that's completely on the other side of the map. And as an artist, that's a good practice. But I think I'm at a point where I've been like putting together my portfolio of work over the last few years, and it's like, this is really disparate. There's a lot of different things and ideas happening over here. All right, I kind of like this fade, so I'm going to come up with an excuse to keep it. I think that excuse is there's going to be like, I guess Loch Ness is there, but maybe also like a landscape, like mountains in the background. Let's throw some of that in. Yes. Oh, sorry. You know when you get a cold and then you get that post-nasal drip at the very end? That's what's happening. Every time. It was like 2 weeks ago that I got sick. I still get like, I'll like wake up coughing and get that sinus drip. That's how it's always been though. I'm amazed at like people who recover from colds super fast because they've always lingered with me. Maybe because I don't know how to stop and rest. That could be it. Look at this. I like the flow. I like the flow of what's happening here. Ooh. I've been rambling a bunch. I think I've ignored some of your questions in the chat. It is what it is. Says, I always wonder how it is to speak alone to the screen. Is it weird? Do you find it normal with time? You do. Also, shout out to what's happening up here with the sun hitting this pint glass. I like that. That's so magical. Sorry, I'm having an Amelie moment where I'm like, something so subtle and everyday is magical and fun, and I'm just a quirky little French introvert. No one will ever love me except for this guy who doesn't have lines in the movie. It's my dream. It's weird at first. I feel like over time it gets normal. And I will say I used to shoot more videos and like vlogs. So I have like this second channel, Mary Doodles 2, which I've renamed to Here Be Mary. And I'm kind of just like setting it up for, there's like other like video ideas and projects and things that's like play that I want to make and share, but it's probably not in line or appropriate for this channel, you know, because people have expectations here. There's got to be some sort of art element. So I'd started Mary Doodles 2 years ago when I was like, I just want to vlog things or like share bonus behind the scenes stuff for Mary Doodles. And then kind of stopped doing that channel because I got burned out in general. So cut back on that. But I've been wanting to build it up again. Anyway, long story short, I used to do weekly vlogs on that channel, and it's something that it's an exercise I miss. And I really enjoy practicing communicating. I think like mental health wise, because I just like get so many thoughts jumbled in my head. If I can just talk it out loud, that's very helpful. And practicing talking to yourself and articulating an idea is a very healthy thing to do, especially in the pandemic. I think there's a lot of people, myself included, who got isolated into spaces where you don't get much contact. I feel like I'm sure I'm not the only one here who had the experience in the last couple of years of going into a social situation for the first time in a while and being like, I'm the crazy person from the deserted island with the wild beard grabbing you by the shoulders and not really knowing how to socialize and connect with you. You want to come in for some tea? I made it out of water that I found in my boot this morning. We must have had a dewy night. Blessed be. I know I've been that person. And I have no regrets. All right, I'm just gonna edge this and create, it's a giant Loch Ness monster in the distance. So we don't have to do too much of shadowing this backdrop. Anyway. Yeah. To summarize, speaking alone on screen, it is awkward at first. It's a skill. It's very learnable. And I think there is some value to being able to talk to yourself, to articulate and narrate things to yourself. That's one of those things that I've been fighting because that means I'm turning into my mother. But it does help to talk to myself. So I got a dog. So then I'm talking to myself, but I'm really talking to someone else. It's a little workaround. But I do find when I can talk things out, then I can have way more focused thoughts throughout the day. Or I discover new things. Yeah. It's really dumb and lame and embarrassing. But then I also read books from writers and I watch vlogs from writers and I realize that's what writers do all the time. And I'm learning to not be ashamed of my process and my the way I create. Because, over the last couple of years, I changed location. I'm in a new environment. I'm surrounded by people who don't create online and with art, in the way that I do. So it's a very different mentality versus where I was living in Los Angeles. And you have a variety of writers, actors, filmmakers, comedians, YouTubers, social media people. That's what I was surrounded with. So it wasn't weird to start your workday by sitting down and talking out ideas and stuff. It's a very different mentality of what work really is. So I kind of lost a little sight of that and what worked for me. And I'd forgotten, my days start great when I have my coffee. After I do my morning stretches, I have my coffee, and then I sit down and I draw. And honestly, I feel the more I read, the more I talk to people, that's one of the hardest parts about becoming an artist. I get a lot of questions about that. How do you begin? How do you become a professional artist? And a big part of it is making that mental switch and saying, well, I will now draw. And I prioritize this because I'm an artist. But being raised in the Midwest, I recognize that pull of, well, I've woken up and I haven't baled hay. I haven't coded data. I haven't done some sort of job or task that I absolutely despise but rely on. I must not be working. I have to remind myself, like, no, you're doing the right thing by filling pages in your sketchbook. This isn't a bad thing. This is actually kind of your job. Yeah, just throwing some yellow on there. I feel like I want more contrast between the sky and the mushroom. And the mushroom, I'm going to say this, to me, is a problem area of the painting, but I will move forward from that. That's always fun, defining the part of the painting that you're going to be dreading working on and avoiding, or overworking, which is what I'm trying to avoid. There. I like contrast. I like bold, stark contrast, and I darkened this area to make the Loch Ness Monster stand out, but then that caused color issues there, and I really liked how it popped before, and now I don't know. I just don't know. But I do like how this paper is still wet. So I'm going to do this real quick. Yes. Ooh, yeah, let some dry brush happen. Well, that's fun. Excuse me, I'm daubing my nose. This is the icky towel. This is the barf towel. If there was a baby in my arms, I'd be throwing up here and no one would be judging me, but instead I just have it here to paint out the paint and wipe my nose. Real question, is art school worth it? College guy. It depends. It's worth it if... What is worth it? Like, college is an investment in your future. And I know that, like, once you get to college, I think the big thing is, like, that's the moment to, like, step up and be like, well, I'm paying for this, so better get my money's worth. Which means, like, learning skills and networking into positions. I guess, like, that's where, in my limited experience, to me, when I think of art school, I think of skills and network. College is about developing your skills and expanding your network, which are very valuable things if you want to become an artist. Yeah, and I guess a lot of it, like, depends on the kind of art you do, and then, you know, the way you create and what you need. Like, I think a lot of people need the structure. I love structure. My favorite part of the day is my to-do list. Like, it's so nice having people there, like mentors and fellow students, to, like, push you forward through things. But I feel like I've experienced and, like, seen the students. Like, I went to film school, so it wasn't necessarily art school. They did have an art program. I kind of, like, knew those types. Like, that was the crowd I ran with, like, the artist, the creative art students. And there's definitely, like, a distinction between the students who were going places and doing things and the students who are just kind of cruising. So I'd say, like, art school is worth it if you're highly motivated, if you know what it is you want and what you expect from the school, and then if you take the initiative and go get that. I think then I would say it is worth it. And there's, like, so many stories from, like, art schools and film schools of, like, students who met each other in school and then, like, collaborated in the future, or you have teachers and mentors who can, like, point you in the right direction and network you into, like, your first few steps. And, like, again, like, I didn't do fine art, I did film school, so I have no, in my mind, art school is, oh, you walk out of there with an impressive portfolio, the credit of a school at your back, and hopefully connections to staff member, teachers, and people within that community and that industry that can then push you forward and you can surf that wave. Let's use a surfing metaphor. If anyone's ever surfed, I used to boogie board a lot when I lived in LA. The key is timing and speed. Like, you get yourself out there to a place where waves are developing, and like there's a certain spot of the wave where it's developed that if you are there and matching the speed, or like you're at the appropriate speed, you'll get picked up in the momentum of the wave and elegantly pushed into shore. So you want to get yourself to the right spot. You want to watch the waves as they're coming in and recognize what phase they're at. And like sometimes there are waves that are like way out there. It's like, that would be so fun to surf, except it's crashing too soon. I'm never going to catch it where I'm at. I'm too far away. So you let it go. Or there's waves that it's like, that would be really fun if I was way over closer to shore. That's a big part of it. You sit out there like, oh, like, when's my wave coming? The wave that's like going to hit me right where I'm at. And then you get insecure and are like, maybe I need to paddle over there. Maybe I need to go over there. Maybe I need to go where this cluster of jerks are. But eventually a wave comes and you recognize that it's building, and the point where it will push you and give you the best momentum is right where you're at. And then that's when you start paddling and building that speed. And you got to get your speed up and be in the right place at the right time for that wave to catch you. And it is possible. So I think like if you strategically go into art school and use it as that momentum for when the wave comes, like, you're good. Metaphor time. You get what you put into it. It's like one giant gym membership. You know, you can pay for it. You can even show up. But if you're not putting in the effort, you're not going to get the output. So, yeah. Is art school worth it? The answer's up to you. But I feel like most people say no, it isn't. But I also think most people go in and they're like, I paid for the thing. Make me an artist. Which I get that. Like, I think everybody does that with college and school. Yeah, Brittany, I would love for you to make your art a full-time job. And you can do it. It's not easy, but it is doable. And like, yeah, a big part of it is saying like, I give myself permission to try this. You know, I feel like now more than ever, there's just so many tools available. Let's see. I think this is, nope, not as dry as I had wanted it to be. That's all right. I kind of like how dreamy that is, though. I'm going to start working. Oh, that's dry. Oh, that's nice and dry. Oh, yeah. I like contrast. I like how dark this is. So I'm just going to start working in some plant life on the base here. And I want to have, this is like going to be a little hill slope coming down. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, this paper, gosh, I wish I should have written down what kind of paper it was. I got it like years ago. It was a splurge. I'll find it again. But it is ideal for just dreamy imagery. We'll put in a little fern. I feel like I've developed my signature plants, my plant doodles that are going to appear in most every painting, which is fun. It's like memes within your own work. Yeah, I think I was talking about this a couple weeks ago. We went to the Dali Museum. I was in Barcelona for a month and just farting about and see museums, and I was blown away. Like when you go, like, you know, these artists like Picasso and Dali, and then their stuff is actually all over there, and you see like the memes within their own artwork, like their own inside jokes, their own signature things. Yeah, that's kind of, that's something that like struck me, and that I keep going back to that lesson. Cause again, my mindset is always like new, invent. And it's a reminder to invest in repeating yourself is okay. In fact, it can be very powerful. Are we dead yet? Says, it's like that old quote, find something you love to do, and your family will always ask you when you're going to get a real job. That's too true. It's too true. Yeah, I'm coming to terms with that. Living closer to family over the last year. I always kind of had this like fairy tale concept that like, oh, my family like completely accepts what I do and like gets it, and like they let me do my thing. And now that I've been closer, I realize a lot of it is because I'm unstoppable. They're like, we're not going to stop her. We don't get it, but she's not going to stop doing it. She's not going to do anything else. At this point, she's an old dumb dog who can't learn new tricks, so we're just going to pray for her. No, I think a lot of it is like, people don't get it, and so like they just want what's best for you. But yeah, my dad will still like give me advice, and there are times where it's like, this is universal advice, this is amazing, you know, stuff like, if someone presents you a deal that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Investigate that. That is incredible advice that like works both for an optometrist running his own practice and an artist. But then there's like other bits of advice where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if this is completely appropriate. Like one thing is that has bothered me. I was always raised to tackle, like you get up and then you deal with essentially the business with other people first. Like there's a thing of like, you wake up and you have an obligation to someone else immediately. Whereas as an artist, I have found like, no, the first person I have an obligation to is myself in like a creative practice. Like if I don't get up and produce something that I can serve up later, then I'm not doing my job. Millie, aw, thank you. Aw, Maddie, you guys, thank you for the super chat, love. Aw, you kids are beautiful. You guys, yeah, they do hit you really fast. Thank you. Much obliged. Well, I'll set it aside, and if you want it, you can have it, you know, but, you know, if you don't, that's also fine. It's getting there. It's getting there. Really enjoying that yellow. It's just the kind of thing where it's like, we just need to, this is still a little wet. Actually, yeah, I'm going to define my Loch Ness's face. I'm going to do this. I'm going to dedicate this face of the Loch Ness Monster to Millie and Maddie with one T, despite what Lindsay says. I think about that every day. That time Lindsay was trying to convince Matt he's spelling his name wrong. Those are just fun moments with friends. It's the pathway to the giant mushroom forest. That's right, V7. Everyone likes the giant mushroom forest. Let's go with, I'm gonna cut this out a little bit. Oh, there needs to be a mushroom there. Okay, well, I'm just gonna do the background first. I'll do the background first, said Tom Waits, as he painted watercolors in the rain. That's not a Tom Waits accent. There, we'll just, it's faded. As people try to fade me. Aww. They don't understand the artistic and creative life. That's the thing I think a lot of artists, like, anytime you're feeling pressure from people outside who don't understand what you're doing, that's all it is. That's all it is. And it's okay to radically be your arty self, your artsy self. Yeah. I've been like going through this massive struggle of like, am I starting my days wrong? Am I a failure in doing the thing that I've done that has always historically brought out more success than not, just because it's not in the same rhythm and alignment with other people? No, we're not all supposed to have the same work schedule. Come on. You think of it, so this is why I loved hanging out in the nightlife and with theater, with comedians, hanging out in late night comedy shows. Like, comedians operate in the hours where people are off the clock. And I had a lot of close relationships with musicians and stuff like that where, you know, like following my ex on like tour and some of my best friends who are on musical tours, and seeing that dissonance between them as professionals where it's a Friday night and it was a great show and everyone's like so pumped and jazzed and like having a wonderful time. And for the performers, like, they're professionals, like they're on the clock. This is their job. They're partying and having a great time, but it's their job. And then there's the fans, or, you know, I had like family and friends come, and they're having their day off. It's the weekend, and like they want to go hard and they want to do shots and party all night. And then you got the pros who are, well, technically we're working and we can't do that because we need to do the same show miles away, like 2 states over tomorrow night. And yeah, I remember like those first times of like bringing my family to a show and explaining like, we're not going to stay up and party all night with you guys. I know that's what you want, but we need to be in Chicago tomorrow. And just like seeing that wall of not understanding slowly fade, and then realizing, oh, this isn't what I thought it to be, because it's not what you know it to be. It's just different worlds. There's different worlds. Everything's fine. Dolly Parton. I'm going to screenshot that. Are we dead yet? Because when I make that illustration, I want your credit. I'm going to screenshot that better. This Surly's gone to me. Starlight big timed me. Yeah, Maddie, catch up. Jesus. You should have gotten in the yarn game, dude, because you are not impressing. That don't impress me much. No, I won't do that. I appreciate every little bit, you guys. You're so sweet. This is so sweet. You're right. Surly hits you hard. I should have remembered that. Have you ever had the sensation that you don't know the process and what you are drawing while you draw? Dude, hi, welcome to my stream. There are some times where I set out to do something and then I completely forget what the goal was. And then I'm like, oh, I got sidetracked by this piece. Oh, crap. Now I got 5 different concepts happening in one painting. It's called discipline. You kind of have to work on it. And that's okay. You don't know the process and what you're drawing while you draw. Yeah, I have to continuously remind myself of everything I've learned in Art 101. So if you've taken any kind of art class in like 5th grade, even whatever, like go back to that. Just like always remember these like basic art lessons. Because it's easy to forget. It's easy to like try to be clever and do something radically different. Yeah, I feel like more often than not, like the basics are really all you need. I guess that goes back to like the question of art school and if it's worth it, which it can be, but if you can find like cheaper, more basic, if it's about developing skill, if it's developing skill that you're looking for, I think there's a lot of places where you can learn just Art 101 and like the basic ideas, tools, concepts you need to move forward. And then the exploration is all up to you. Maybe that's like the most overlooked lesson in art in general, is like it comes to a point where now you're driving the bus. What do you want to make? And some people have no problem with that, but I do feel more often than not, a lot of artists struggle with giving themselves permission to be like, you know what? I am just going to paint with period blood for the next 3 months. Why not? Let's just give it a shot. Which is why I started Booty Doodles. Thank you, Millie, for pushing me forward on that. Because I was sitting there for a long time thinking, I like what I'm doing, but I also really appreciate just painting and drawing butts. And I know that I have a wide variety of content and art and stories and lessons to share with the world in the name of world peace and productivity and bettering oneself. But sometimes I just want to draw butts. So Booty Doodles, Doodlez. I started that as a place where I could share my butts and give myself permission to paint just butts. Mike Garcia, more power to you for derail that bus. I hope your bus is on that infamous highway through the Amazon. No, I'm not going to do that joke, but I hope you go off the cliff. I hope you sail 700 feet through the air to the other side where you land on this ancient Incan road. We're in Peru, and you cruise on through a plane of existence that has not yet been discovered and could only exist because you went there first for the first time in 5,000 years. That's what I'm hoping for you today on this Sunday. I'm going to darken this. This was an oopsie over there, so I'm going to take this moment to fix every mistake I've ever made in this painting, specifically. So I can ignore all the other mistakes everywhere else in life. All right. Just going to define this mushroom. Kind of very sad with how, well, I don't know. This is the part where I'm feeling the ugly duckling phase of a painting. I think that happens with every piece where it's like, oh, I have a concept. And then you like hit a point where you're like, I'm really feeling good about this. And then you try something, you're like, I messed it up. And it's awkward and gangly. And I just have to remind myself, like, dude, it's 6th grade for this painting, okay? It's working with what it's got. And what it's got is braces. So let's just be patient. Let's let the process happen. And let's not judge it. Let's not talk about it to relatives in front of it like it's not there. Let's just treat it with the respect and dignity that a full-grown, evolved, mature painting deserves. You know, you kind of have to trust the process and say, okay, working on it. Oh my God, I just fucked it up even more. No one will know. No one will know because it's not done yet. All right. Oh, thank you, Mortar. Thanks. I'm really, I'm enjoying sunset colors lately. That's the thing. I had a big sit down with myself at the start of the year because it's a new year. And I'm like, oh, what are my colors this year? Branding. What are my brand colors? And, I feel like there's a sweet pocket of like overthinking it and intentionally saying, this year I'm only doing these colors. And then there's like the point where you're like, I'm just going to do what I do and then step back and realize what it is that I'm doing. Sort of like Picasso's blue period. Like that's a famous thing where like Picasso's friends all killed themselves and said, we hate you, Picasso. Why are you so rude to women? And he was like, man, I feel really blue and depressed. And then The question is, did he sit down and look at himself in the mirror and say, I'm 3 surleys deep and now considering only painting with blue? Or did he just make art and then was like, oh my goodness, I've only been painting with blue this whole time? Like, how intentional is that? That is the question. So here is a hill. I want to put a figure here. I'm kind of thinking a person or a tricycle, stegosaurus. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what you want. Does this weird anybody out? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Booty, Doodles, and Life Story. Most important art school class. How to frame a blank canvas and title it, Take the Money and Run. I mean, that's a part of art too. That is a part of art. Because a lot of times art is more of the experience. It's the message. It's not what you made. It's why you made it. Any thoughts on NFTs? I'm curious about them. I've been researching on how to make some. People have been like, you should make NFTs. I'm looking at all of them, and it all just kind of seems like, well, I need to learn some sort of 3D animation. Like, and that's where, yeah, and the idea of minting NFTs, and it costs gas. I'm confused, but curious about it. And then it feels like, I don't know, as a creator, as like someone who does art, it's like one of those things where like all of a sudden people are like tapping you on the shoulder like, I heard people got rich off this and you should too. You know, so there's this wariness of, okay, like, but will it actually, I don't know. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I don't know. I want to make an NFT. I think this year I do want to at least make one and like experiment and try it out. But I guess I'm caught trying to think of like, what is the value of it? Like, who's going to want it and why? And what would it be? And could I do something where it's like just a little video of watercolor bleeding out into an image? Like, could that be an NFT? Or do I have to like do 3D animation and then hire someone who does like meditation music, like 432 gigahertz music? I don't know. A tiny Mary with an easel. Oh, Stegosaurus. Oh, I'm torn between easel. Okay. Is this a self-portrait? Is it me with an easel or is it a Stegosaurus? What am I painting with? Oh, thanks, college guy. Me too. I sat down and did my nails one day because it had been a while. Eternal nail polish off of Amazon. I've probably only gotten like 3 manicures in my life, which is weird because I've been like kind of considering, I have Christmas money that I've stashed some of it into my tattoo fund. My favorite, I think I found a tattoo artist for my next tattoo, and her books open a week from now, next Saturday. So I'm like, okay, well, I got money for that. And then I'm like, well, do I get a manicure with what's left over? Do I get a pedicure? That was always like one of those things like, I don't deserve this. Why should I get that? But yeah, I've always done my own nails. And this is a paint from Amazon called Eternal. And I actually really like it. And I'm really mad about that. But it's durable. I painted my nails. And then like 2 hours later, I was putting up gear and like stashing things and unscrewing stuff and like chiseling my nails against sandpaper, and they still look like this. So it's probably the Illuminati. Booty is suggested. What is an NFT? An NFT is a nice fictional thing that you can purchase with a cryptid money. Sleeve tattoo. Yes, I'm getting a full sleeve tattoo that's gonna look like this sweater. But just on the one arm. Get sweater tattoos. Oh my God. I'm having a thought. This one's specifically for Millie, for the yarn shop. Have you thought of getting like a collar tattoo of like that Scandinavian snowy snowflake knitted patterning? Not on you, like make an employee do that. Like Tim. A tattoo. Sweater tattoo. It's a thought. Collectible trading cards, but there's no physical card. Yes, exactly. Well said. Are we dead yet? Well said. Yeah, that's the interesting thing with like NFTs. That's like a space where people who know are like, they've been around for everywhere and everyone knows about it. And every time, like NFTs are obvious. And then everybody else is like, what is this? What is this? It's like Pokemon when it first came out. Okie dokie. I'm going to put some landscape in. This is about dry, so I'm just gonna harden this off with some shadows, define it with some foliage. And I'm really obsessed with ferns. So one fun side project I've been doing has been, we're downsizing the family home, which comes with aging and moving. And we've had the privilege of like, we moved into this house when I was 8. So we've been settled. There's a lot of things to go through, which I know not everybody has. I know I had a friend who like, the family home burned down and like they lost all that stuff. So like I've been going through boxes of drawings because my mom saved everything. And yesterday I just finished up clearing through schoolwork and drawings and assignments and projects from 5th grade, 4th grade, 2nd grade, like all through like elementary school. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got notes for that girl. There's so much. There was a phase where no matter what the school assignment was, I crowbarred dinosaurs into it. Like, there was one where it was a math assignment. And I wrote out my work and my process, and then I illustrated dinosaurs around it. But these ferns were also a very common through line. I realized that I would do these things, which I still do to this day, where it's these ferns. And I know exactly where that comes from. There was like a weird snippet of an animation in some sort of educational PBS video show about dinosaurs that I watched as a child in the 90s. And they illustrated a stegosaurus eating ferns. And that's all I would draw then. I was like, cool, I can do this. Super fun. Just realized I want a really dark mushroom right there. Very good. Very good. Love it. Yeah. Didn't I say I was going to define this Loch Ness Monster an hour ago? People are not mad about NFTs anymore. I don't know how mad people are these days. I don't know. I know, like, yeah, some people got really upset about NFTs because they're wasteful, or I'm still trying to understand how they're... The argument I heard was that they're a drain on the environment. which might just be through electricity. I don't know. Like, my understanding of it feels like I guess it's not as bad as like leaving all the lights on in your home. And if your home could be powered by something outside of fossil fuels, that's not bad. I don't know. I don't know. That's where it's... The idea of getting into NFTs is giving me the same feelings of when I wanted to learn how to play Magic the Gathering. And I showed up in the game shop with all these dude friends of mine, and they were all very excited to tell me the rules and tell me what to do. If I had a question, like all 6 of them would answer at the same time and try to one-up each other with their knowledge base. So, I kind of get that feeling with NFTs where it's like, I have questions, and then people are like, I'm willing to answer with the top of my knowledge. I'm willing to answer with the purpose of showing you how much I know, as opposed to teaching you what you want to know or need to know. So that's where I've been like a little like, okay, I'll just linger out here. Not get too involved. Non-fungible token. Fungible. This is fungible. Fungi. Non-fungible token. I know what you're talking about. Okay, I get it now. I know what NFTs are. They're sporadic arts. Do they make you money? They can. People will purchase NFTs. So the most common thing I hear or example of NFTs is the idea of like the Mona Lisa is a painting. There's only one of them that exists, and there can be replicas, but the Mona Lisa itself is... I'm looking for my white marker. Okay, so you only have like the one thing that exists IRL in real life with paintings. So NFTs are like a digital version of that, where there's a digital footprint that ensures when you buy an NFT, you're the only one who owns it. This is not the marker I was looking for. Okay. Where is it? It's in a different jar. Give me one moment. I still like that marker. I'm just very disappointed in it. I went to the art store this week and I got this guy. This is a Faber-Castell brush marker, and as you can see, it's white. It's not as potent as I would like, but there's purpose for it. There is. I just need to find what that is. Okay. This is like my favorite manga white marker. It says manga liner. There we are. Get my fingerprints. Beautiful. It's that brand. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. I want to put in more stars. Speckle things. I want it to be very galactic. Because I'm obsessed with that look. I like a good starry night look. Ever had spotted cow beer? I have not. I should look that up. I'm all about trying new drinks. Also, there's like a local cow-themed pub here. And they'd be crazy not to carry something called Spotted Cow. Wisconsin? Yeah, it is. Only in Wisconsin. Amazing. Did I watch Mark Kistler Imagination Station or something? I did not. I'm not familiar, no. Here, I'm going to put that into my... A lot of times during the stream, I will end up with a bunch of tabs open full of things that I want to look up. Ooh, Imagination Station. All right. Beautiful. How does trading card use of oh my gosh, yeah. I have no I'm not an NFT expert, but if you are an NFT expert, help Brittany out, help me out. Be my manager. I will I'll give you 10% of my proceeds from my first NFT that I sell. If you can get me if you can help me launch mint my very first NFT, well heck. I'll commission you for that. So you can hit me up in the chat. My email is emailmarydoodles@gmail.com. Very important to put email before that. Oddly enough, marydoodles@gmail.com is not my email address. That goes to someone else who never checks it, except the one time they're like, oh, you got a bunch of email for you. I was like, thanks. Can I have this account? And then they never replied because I don't think they check it. I think they just like checked it one last time, like, people think you're here. How can I start with watercolor? Oh, that's a good question. I love watercolor because it's super cheap and getting started is pretty simple. I would say colors are great. The more the merrier, obviously. So if you can find like, there's like starter kits of watercolor palettes you can get. There's some good travel ones. Sakura Koi is like a more higher end one. There's some good like inexpensive watercolor kits. And honestly, like cheap watercolors are just as fun as like the Primo stuff. Like I was saying, like this is Primo paper. It's super soft and it's just soft. And the way the paint interacts with it, it blends so beautifully. So I would say like, just look for a watercolor kit that gets you like some of your basics, and you don't need a whole lot of colors, like your basics, red, yellow, blue, and then green, purple. What's the other one? Orange. Like those are like your extras. You want black, you want white in there. Well, and with watercolor, white paint technically doesn't exist because you're using the white of the paper coming through. Think of it like drawing. When you're drawing with pencil, with graphite, you don't draw white onto it generally. You just draw around it. So it's the same with watercolor. Getting like some basics of like your paint kit, your brushes, you want them to be soft. You want them to be very soft and gentle. And you can find like some decent kits. I'm working on putting up on my website like a starter guideline, like a page that's like, here's some starter art supplies. So thank you for that question because it's motivating me to prioritize that. But you want like something that's like a little soft. You can do synthetic hairs. The higher end brushes will be like badger hair, but again, like if you're starting, you don't need to go for the high end stuff. And then your paper, I feel like the paper above all is the most important thing for getting that watercolor experience when you're doing watercolor for the first time. So just be sure whatever paper you get is watercolor paper. Strathmore is a good brand. Canson is a good brand, like a good basic, like starting out brand. And you can get like packs of loose leaf paper or watercolor sketchbook. I would say if you're just starting, if it's cheap and allows you many pages to just practice and play with, that's the thing. When you're starting out with new materials, quantity over quality, to me, I think was very helpful because it freed me up to feel like, okay, I can experiment. I can try this and then throw it away and not feel too bad. And not feel like, that could have been a full painting. Get materials that you don't mind burning through. And then the key is slow and steady. Where the water goes, the paint will go. So if you want to avoid like vomit colors, let it dry. And less is more. Less is more. And you can always layer it up. And that's my advice for starting with watercolors. I realized I didn't settle on what was going to go here. We're going to do easel. An easel or booty. Apparently my relaxing time is up. Oh, yeah, V7. Hope you're enjoying walking your dog. You've probably left by now. Walk that puppy. Hola, VC Cross. Hello. Me encanta tu trabajo. Me encanta. Trabajo es... Oh man, I don't know Spanish. I don't know Spanish like I would like to. But hello in Ecuador. Hello from Minnesota to Ecuador. We have snow here. Oh, you can only get that beer in Wisconsin. That makes sense. Looking at the website, that makes sense. I love it. Hey, Marcus, you're here. You haven't missed much. I'm just doing like Loch Ness Monster and some mushrooms and trying to remember. Oh, thank you. Yeah, trying to remember what I want to put here. Maybe it will be me or an artist with a easel. Contact fellow YouTuber Jonathan Mann. He would probably love to help you with anything NFT related. He's a bit obsessed with them. I will. Thank you. Thank you for the hot tip. Are we dead yet? Hi, Sue. Sue, hi. Hi, Carols. Hi, Sue. What do you think is more important, brush quality or paint quality? That is a good question. I'd say brush quality. Because I think what I feel like personally, whatever paint you're working with, if you have the tools to really push it and manipulate it, that can help. But really, it's not one or the other. I guess you could always put it to a dual question, but really it's a triumvirate of paper, paint, brush. Paper, paint, brush. Paper, paint, brush. It's rock, paper, scissors. When they're all aligned, then no one dies. So what is more important, paper, paint, or brush quality? And personally, I've always veered toward paper quality, then paint, then brush. No, paper quality, then brush, then paint. I always veered toward paper quality, brush, and then paint. But now I am exploring paint quality and brush quality. Actually, these two are newer brushes, and I'm really enjoying them. I tend to only use like 2 or 3 brushes at a time. I'll go through phases where I'm like, these are the brushes and the only brushes. And everything else sits in the jar for like, maybe I'll use it someday. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's all preference. Never. I think it's all personal preference. Ooh, Marcus is going to go visit the Loch Ness Monster. Tell it I say hi. All right, I'm going to show your comment. Your comment got flagged, Ingrid, and I don't know why. Because I don't speak Spanish. So I'm going to unflag it and see what happens. Okay, so I think there was a suggestion to do an easel here and me painting. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to toss in an easel. And then I think I'm going to wrap up this piece. So, just going to real quick throw it in there. There's that third leg coming out the back. Thing is, I don't often paint with an easel. I've got like this guy back here that I've been working on. But I primarily do waters and inks, which is on flat paper. And actually, like, so this is a acrylic gouache, and I'll do like acrylic gouache, or I have like a water soluble oil paints that I've been trying that are very interesting. And for me, like, as someone who arts for a living, like, that's my break, is I will play with materials that I don't normally use and don't professionally use, or things that aren't traditionally in my repertoire. That's how I'll take a little time out for myself. It's nerdy, I know. Yeah, I'm just gonna toss in some darker paint here. Does that look like an easel? It looks like a water tower. Okay, that's all right. I'm not gonna obsess over it. And I guess there's gonna be a person, an artist, maybe sitting. All right, so I'm gonna start with like a skeletal sketch. And that's gonna be the palette. Can you see? It's gonna be an arm and a brush. I'm doing this very cartoony. This is kind of a very last minute cartoony addition to the painting, because I've almost gone 2 hours. This has been a really fun paint day, Doodlebugs. But I should wrap this up because I am dying of thirst. My dog is going to be mad at me for not taking her out. I'm still getting over a cold. It's in the bronchial part. It's the top of the lungs. Thank you for joining, everybody, though. I'm going to be here next week, same time, same place, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I begin on Sundays. This is the Sip and Sketch. If you're new here, my name is Miss Doodles. I do this every week on Sundays, and I'm posting a new, the tutorial is finally done. I got very self-conscious about this latest tutorial and spent way too much time editing it, but I will be posting it this Wednesday on my YouTube channel. I've got some new Sip and Sketch merch available in my spring shop, which should be the pinned comment. We got the Schrodinger's cat design that everybody decided last week that we were going to do, which I love. So I think I'm going to have that up for a month. And then next month, we'll pick like some sort of design from the next few weeks to turn into stickers and t-shirts and whatnot. So yeah. You can check that out. Oh gosh. Oh geez, I don't like this silhouette. This is a very tricky thing. I might have to come back to this piece and really update it. Or define some stuff. That's like my silhouette of an artist, if that makes any sense. Oh, their butt is floating on the stool. Oh dear. Well, here, they're just going to be drawing a booty. It's a little Easter egg. It's a butt. It's a very vague butt. Go follow Booty Doodles on Instagram. Booty, Booty, Doodlez. Yes. Booty Doodles with a Z. That's my Instagram, where I just draw butts, or you can follow me at Miss Doodles everywhere on the internet, except for TikTok. I am Doodles Mary. But I'm gonna wrap this up here for now. This isn't done. But I like where we went. We started with just a random splash of colors, and you guys helped me to make it into something that I'm really enjoying and liking. Maybe next week we'll finish up this. I also have a few other sheets of paper that are starts of paintings that need to be finished. So if you like this format, let me know in the chat. Let me know how you feel about that, because I'm really enjoying this. I have like a folder of things that, like, ideas and concepts that I then put into that work in progress folder, thinking I will finish these off one day. It may be years, it may be months, but I will turn these into something, which is really fun. I like that. That's how I operate best. No destination, just action. Definitely not a recipe for chaos. Cool. Will I be doing another self-portrait? I've done sketches of it, and I'm kind of... It always felt appropriate to do around New Year's because my birthday is December 27th. So there was like a span of like 4 years where I did self-portraits around my birthday. It's a reflective thing. And I didn't do it this year, but I did some sketches. And while going through like my childhood schoolwork and artwork, I have found a handful of self-portraits from like 5th grade, 10th grade, which is interesting. So I'm kind of tempted to do something this year and put together a video or a project that highlights the progression of self-portraits. So it's a maybe. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'm conflicted with that, but it would be an interesting exercise. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've now. Okay, now I know. I've seen Jonathan Mann. I know who you're talking about now. When you put it in music terms, it's like, oh yeah. I've watched a bunch of videos with Jonathan Mann. Thank you, Millie, for putting booty doodles out there. Love you guys. Oh, thanks, Marcus. It will take me a month to recover from a cold, as always, because I don't need to stop just because I'm sick. Pshaw. Healing time? Never thought of it. Proofing time for bread? Give it time to rise? Nah, just throw that in the oven. That's me. Aw, thanks, Brittany. Mwah! Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. If you come back to the stream or don't. Ha 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 ha. No, you'll be back. You'll be back. Why? Because this is where the soul contract begins. That's right. That's just my Crocs on the stool. I'm going to go drink water. I love you. Goodbye.